Hey everybody, Steve Papoutzis here, executive producer for Dead Space 2. Hope you guys are having a great day. A bunch of cool questions got submitted, so I'm going to go ahead and do my best to try to answer them. Let's take a look at the helmet. Matthew Devonachik, hopefully I said that right, Matthew. Hello Steve. Hey Matthew. What is the hardest difficulty setting, and will it be harder than Dead Space 1's Impossible mode? What is the hardest difficulty setting, and will it be harder than Dead Space 1's Impossible mode? Well, Matthew, I can talk about the difficulty settings today, because the game's coming out real soon. So, we've got Casual, which is for people that maybe aren't really familiar with their controls and are kind of new to like a third-person game like Dead Space, which is a great place to start. We've got Normal, which is kind of like the standard difficulty setting. Will be challenging. The game is kind of on the harder side because we want it to be challenging. We want it to, have that flavor of survival horror. Then we've got Veteran, which is kind of a step up from it. Resources are going to be a lot more scarce. The enemies are going to hit harder. And then we've got Zealot, which is the hardest difficulty you can play out of the box. That is going to be extremely challenging in terms of resource management. Not going to be a lot of ammo for you, not going to be a lot of health. And also the enemies are going to do a lot more damage. Once you defeat the game on any of those difficulty settings, you unlock the final difficulty setting, which is Hardcore mode. And our desire with Hardcore mode was to really have a challenge for those players that are super hardcore and super into playing Dead Space 2. And so Hardcore mode is going to be very challenging. But the biggest change to it is that you can't take any of your New Game Plus items into Hardcore mode. You have to start kind of, again, at 0. And you're limited to 3 saves. So if you happen to perish, it's back to the last save. You need to load that up. There's no checkpoints. So the difficulty in terms of the enemies and the drops is kind of on par with Zealot. But the challenge really comes from being, really strategic about where you're going to save and making sure you don't die because, again, you don't have those checkpoints to bail you out. So I hope that answers your question. And then in terms of how it stacks up against Dead Space 1's Impossible mode, I think Zealot and Hardcore are clearly on par, and I actually think Hardcore is a lot harder than Impossible mode because of those restrictions with the saves. So hopefully that answers your question. Good question. Josh Spera asks, hey Steve, for multiplayer, I heard you gain experience as you kill and win rounds, and then can use it to unlock different suit, parts, and weapons. Will this only apply to the humans online, or will we be able to customize our necromorphs as well? Well, Josh, you can customize your necromorphs as well, but you're really modifying the damage that they can do. So think of it as applying damage modifiers to the necros as you level them up. And you're right, you do get new weapons that you can unlock. For the humans. Back to the helmet. Okay. Ibn La Ahad asks, after the game comes out, will there still be Q&A? So if we have something that's not clear to understand, we can ask you. Well, sure. I think we could do that. Yeah, I think we'll be able to have some more questions and answers because it's fun. I like doing them and certainly like seeing what you guys want to know about. So yeah, we'll do that. Thanks, Ibn Lahad. Next question. Matt Johnson asks, will all of the weapons from Dead Space be making a return? Perhaps with a few upgrades? Perhaps, Matt, perhaps. As a matter of fact, all of the weapons from the original Dead Space do make a return. And we looked at all of them, and we decided that, there were some that we really needed to adjust. The flamethrower, for instance, we wanted to really improve that, make people want to use it more. And we took the pulse rifle, we changed the alt fire on that. It's got a grenade that it launches now. You might have seen that in the demo. So we did. We went through all the weapons that existed in the original game, tweaked those slightly, make them more fun. And then we brought in some new weapons, like the detonator, the javelin gun, the seeker rifle, and the rivet gun. So we've got all those as well now. Tom DeCastro asks, dear Steve, what was your favorite weapon in Dead Space, and why was that your favorite weapon? Well, Tom, in the original Dead Space, I really enjoyed the plasma cutter. I thought it was super awesome, and so I tended to do my playthroughs when we were making the game using the plasma cutter. And in Dead Space 2, it's kind of a toss-up. I really like the javelin gun quite a bit. I also really like the seeker rifle. But then there's the old reliable Ripper that I really enjoy using. So kind of like all those as well. So Dead Space 1, really like the plasma cutter. Dead Space 2, love the javelin, love the Ripper. And the seeker rifle is really good in certain situations. So those are the ones I really like. All right, the final question. Okay. Okay, Monique asks, is Punk dead? And my answer is no. No, Monique. Punk is not dead. And that's it. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for asking the questions. Looking forward to doing some more after the game comes out. Really anxious to see what everybody thinks of the game. Please post your messages. Keep coming back to the page. Let us know what you think. And if you want, follow me on Twitter at LevelUpTime, because I do some tweeting and some stuff and things, and it'd be cool to have you guys interacting on there. Thanks a lot.